What's a question that you would want to ask someone that's older than 35 about life in general?
What's your definition of happiness? Or what gives you peace?
What keeps you going?
I would say, is there anything that looking back you regret or don't regret doing? And then I'd say, if they're married, how did you know they were your person?
That's a good question. Yeah.
How they got to where they were in life, like what steps they took when they were my age to sort of set themselves up in a way that was successful.
I told you it's a good question.
What regrets do you have in your 20s, and what would you do differently?
Do you think you're old yet?
Honestly,
Have
that's a
you
good one.
finished learning? I think it's like, have you finished learning? Like, are you still learning new things?
What you asked. But do you feel like you're like a seasoned learner, like you can give people advice, or do you still feel like, wow, I still feel like I don't know anything
Like a
about
child.
life? Yeah. Yeah.
Are you an adult yet?
Yeah. Are you an adult? Yeah. You just summed it up. Are you an adult yet?
Facts.
Yeah.
You know, what, like, if they've learned anything in, like, their life that, you know, is, like, the most important thing that they've learned.
What's an important life skill that's not taught in school?
What's a life experience that you went through that you would fully live through again and maybe even like encourage other people to live?
Having a family, for sure. I mean, giving birth to and raising our kids was probably the peak of our life experience, shared life experience.
Yeah, I would say so. If you're lucky enough to have children, it's one of life's greatest journeys. Challenging and rewarding.
Amazing.
I didn't have it, and I wish I did, and that's to travel, like travel with friends and just like see stuff that you want to see. Because once you get married or once you have kids, it's so much harder to do stuff for yourself. So do stuff, be selfish, do stuff for yourself.
Good. What is something that in your early 20s you would have loved to know, but you just didn't have that advice for you? Like, what's an advice that you would give to your 20-year-old self?
Study everything, so follow your heart, but be practical and know what it takes to get by in the world, so that you're not a dreamer who's constantly frustrated. You know, to quote the book, "Do what you love, the money will follow." But if you follow money, it's not a path for happiness. You might get material things, but you won't be happy.
Celebrate other women's accomplishments, for sure. Like don't let your friends' accomplishments make you feel like you're not doing as well or as much. Celebrating each other is just so important. Like really, really recognizing the contributions of your friends and just knowing that you run your race and they run their race.
So what's an advice that you would give someone in their 20s? Obviously, we're figuring our life out right now. We're trying to find what we want to do in life. What's like an advice that you would give to someone in that position that's like still figuring life out?
Stay true to yourself. There's always going to be things that seem like they're cool, and you can spend a lot of time trying to go down a lot of roads being like, what are these people doing? What are these people doing? But in the end, like, all that matters is what makes you happy and brings you peace.
Yeah, and I would say to try new things. You know, there's times where you might feel in a rut or stuck, but don't let that get you down. Step out of your comfort zone and push yourself to those limits where you might not feel comfortable, you know.
What is one thing that life is like teaching you right now, like in this day and age?
Patience.
Patience.
Good answer. I'd say like to be more outgoing and like social. Like I wasn't the most social person in high school, but like the last few months I've tried to get out more.
And someone that's like entering college, like what is
Yeah.
the first advice that you would give them?
Just do everything. Like straight up, like if there's anything that even seems like really stupid and random, just do it. Like we had a hot yoga session during our orientation week. So you just go to that, you know? Just do whatever.
And meet people. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Amazing. And shifting the conversation towards like social media, what do you think our life would look like if we were less involved with social media and like just technology in general?
I think it would probably be better in the sense that we're not constantly comparing ourselves to everyone. And I feel like it's easier to be disconnected when you're constantly just on your phones or on social media. And honestly, just like the whole aspect of posting everything, I think can make certain things less, I guess, like being less present or enjoying the moment less. So
I think life would be less superficial if we didn't have like as much social media.
I think everything can be good or bad depending on how you use it. Like, for example, my sister lives in Alaska. I never get to see her. So, like, I love seeing her social media posts and keeping up with, like, her life and kind of what she's doing. But I do think social media really can be bad in terms of, like, comparing yourself to other people, like what other people have, you know, where they're going to school, who they're dating, are they on trips, do they have kids and I don't have kids, do they have a dog, I don't have a dog, things like that. And I think it could just kind of suck a lot of the joy out of your life. And I think you don't focus as much on, like, the good things that you have because you're comparing yourself to other people. So I think that's a really negative aspect. And then, like, for example, I used to spend like 6 or 7 hours a day on TikTok before I started med school. And like the first week I figured out very quickly like I wasn't going to pass if I kept doing that. So I had to like delete it because you can just get so like sucked into things like that. I was spending all my time on that instead of like reading books or going outside, and it makes you feel very anxious. I feel like it adds to anxiety. Sometimes social media does. So I think everything in moderation. It just depends on how you use it. But I think I would probably eliminate it altogether if I had the option.
Yeah, the option. Yeah. If you can define love without using the word love, how would you define it?
Right, so like I think relationships and bonds are two different things. I think a bond is just like energy and it's very like inflexible. It can be really strong. Relationship can always adapt based on like where you're at, based on the timing and everything else. And I think people tend to make love really selfish, of like they only love someone else only in relation to them being a part of that person's life the way they want it to be. But sometimes that person may need you to play a different role for their own growth, development, and so on and so on. So to me, love is like loving somebody enough that you're willing to be, again, a complementary thing in their life, how they need you to show up, even if that doesn't always align with like how you want to be in their life. So, yeah.
Love is definitely a feeling, but I think love is also an action, but like subconsciously, you know? I feel like you love someone when you're like, oh, I thought of them when I did this, or I did this because it just felt natural, you know? So I guess it's just a subconscious thing, yeah.
Love is just sharing yourself and your life with other people.
Yo no sé si el amor a primera vista existe. Yo creo que el amor se trabaja. El amor es una decisión, no es algo que te hace el corazón así, que ya, porque eso se llama enamoramiento y es una atracción y el amor es otra cosa. Entonces el amor se trabaja, es una decisión, no siempre es fácil, pero hay que saberlo cultivar, abonar, chinear, conlleva muchas cosas, no solo amor, no solo atracción física, un poco de darse y que te den, porque mentiras que si no te dan vas a estar feliz. Entonces es un intercambio también. Yeah.
What's an advice that you would have for people trying to find their like purpose in life?
Purpose in life, again, see yourself and listen to yourself what you want to do, because if you want to do something very, very badly, you will do it very good when you actually start it. You need to love what you do.
Don't work too hard at it, because it may change. Just follow what moves you in this moment, and 5 years from now it'll be something different, and 20 years from now it may be something different. And as much as you try and think about where you want to be in the future, you really don't know where you're going to be. So it's just about keeping your eyes open, following your heart a bit, the things that interest you each month, each year.
And I would add that I think in our culture we put so much emphasis on work, but your work doesn't have to be your passion. So find passion in all parts of life and don't be overly focused on work. I mean, you should do work that's meaningful and going to help you live a good life, but I would not put too much emphasis on that.
And I'll add something to that on the not work. So relationships and friendships that you have now, the ones that really matter to you, hold on to them, because as you get older, they will turn out to be the most important thing.
Find things that align. And I would even say, like, for me, I felt like I always knew what I wanted to do and maybe closed off other opportunities because I was like, well, that doesn't fit within the scope of that. I would just say, like, your 20s are your time. Like, someone explained it to me, your 20s, like, you've only been an adult. You're a baby adult. So I'm like a 2-year-old adult. So, like, while you're a young adult, like, be stupid, but within reason, be curious. Like, there's a lot that you might not have been exposed to, or like you might not know that you like about yourself. And like, I feel like kind of talking about paths, there's no like, this is the only path. There's so many paths, and like, you never know how something might turn into like a full circle moment. So just follow things that like nourish you, or things that are interesting to you. Like, you don't have to be so rigid. And it's just like, it's the perfect, I feel like life is the perfect time for exploration, but your early 20s especially, like, for most people, you don't have anything tying you down. Like, the world is really your oyster. So, just pursue things just with an open mind and open heart. And I feel like life just kind of has a way of pushing you and moving you to where you need to be. And you'll figure it out as time goes on.
So another thing is like you were talking earlier about like happiness and like what's something that helps them move on. So what is something that you guys on your daily life like smile about? You're like walking around the city and you're like, oh, that just makes me happy.
So we live together. So when we wake up, we give each other a very tight hug. so that's one thing that I'm really thankful about, and something that gives me a lot of happiness. And yeah, I think that like just chilling around with good people, with quality people who are actually happy for you.
People is definitely one of my top things too, but then just finding joy outside of the people you love. Like, I had a little interaction with 2 little girls today right outside the tea, and just watching people be so happy today. It's such a sunny day, so definitely finding happiness outside of your little world too.
So for me, I really like running, not because I'm trying to be in shape, but I just think it's like a good stress reliever. So like at the end of the day, I look forward to, like, we have like no parks like this are in Savannah, but there's some that are like kind of decent, and so I like going there to go for a walk or a run. I think it just makes me happy to get outdoors and like get away from the desk for a while.
Spontaneously coming down to the Boston Public Garden, seeing it's a beautiful evening and saying, hey, let's go downtown. Spontaneity is definitely one of them, and being in beautiful places.
Yeah.
I don't know if he will watch it or not. I have a student and he constantly telling me that he likes how I walk. He likes how I laugh. So this is very funny because he's 13.
He's 13 and he's telling
Yeah.
you, I like your walk. and I
Yes,
like your laugh."
yes. He, I work in a special ed, and he is handicapped, so he cannot see me. He's in a chair, in wheelchair.
Yeah.
So if I walk from behind, he listens my steps, and he knows that's me. And he like, I love your steps. I love you. And it's so funny.
It's so funny, but it's so sweet.
It's sweet, yes.
That's
yeah, we laugh a
adorable.
lot.
So I have a dog. I got her when she was 9 weeks old, when I was in my first year of medical school, and having her like takes me outside a lot. We spend a lot of time inside studying, and it's really nice to have her. I've met so many people through having her. I look forward to seeing her when I get home, and that's something that I've really appreciated, having an animal at home, a pet, like a companion. So.
Trees, large standing bodies of water, moments of like solitude and silence, basketball for me, cute outfits. I think
True,
like
true,
just
true. Right. Look at these glasses. I mean, come on.
Crochet hat. I've been looking at it all the time. I was like,
Being fitted.
no,
Head
she
to
is
toe.
fitted. And the purse combining with the
Come
hat.
on,
That
come
did
on.
not go unnoticed.
Right. That brings me joy too. Yeah.
But yeah, I think laughter too. Like I think sometimes like we're kind of closed off as people, and we kind of close ourselves off from interaction with people we might know. So like even this interaction, I'm like, this is so cute. Like this is so sweet.
It's
So
wholesome. We love
yeah.
it. Okay, algo que tú todos los días miras y dices, bueno, eso es un poquito de luz en el camino.
Yo creo que me ha ayudado mucho ser agradecida y agradecer lo poco, lo mucho, lo grande, lo pequeño. Yo disfruto mucho de la naturaleza y me encanta. Entonces yo creo que estoy más que sobrada, porque al menos en mi país tengo muchísimo que disfrutar, mucho que ver, mucha cosa que hacer. Yo creo que hay que ocuparse también, ¿verdad? El vivir bien es tener algo que hacer. Y yo, por ejemplo, ahora que ando aquí, me encanta caminar, me encanta ver estos parques tan lindos, ver la ciudad, observar a la gente. No soy de meterme en museos, apenas un ratito, porque en realidad ahora con el internet los museos los puedes ver mucho y muchas cosas. Me gusta conocer la historia de los países, entonces yo creo que lo que le hace a uno ilusión es mantenerse ocupado en lo que te gusta, en algún hobby. Mi familia para mí es muy importante, mis nietos ocupan mucho de mi vida y mi mamá que está muy anciana. Entonces yo creo que es eso, es un poco ocuparse.
Encontrar las cosas chiquitas de la vida.
Claro,
Muy bien.
claro, disfrutar todo, hasta, no sé, ese pato que anda ahí, cualquier cosa.
Pues muy gracias.
Y de ustedes, por ejemplo, qué sorpresa para mí haberlos encontrado.
Ay, me alegro que le haya gustado. Muchas gracias.
Bueno, con mucho gusto.